starting chapter 10. We're looking at the distributive property right now. Okay. We're going to solve number 1 on the worksheet I just gave you, x times the quantity of x plus 5. That's how the parentheses are said. It's not said x times x plus 5 because that assumes there's no parentheses. We really want to say x, and then when we see parentheses, the quantity of x plus 5. And so we distribute by multiplying x by both terms, right? And we get what? X squared plus 5x. Okay, that was number 1 on your worksheet. That's it. I don't want to do number 2. Let's do number 5. Negative 6x times the quantity of x plus 7. What do I get when I distribute just 6x to the x plus 7? Negative 6x squared minus, because the negative times a positive makes it minus, 6 times 7 is 42x. And then let's look at number 10. 5x squared times the quantity of x plus 3. What do I get when I multiply 5x squared times x? 5x cubed. And what is 5x squared times 3? 15x squared. Now we're going to talk about factoring and intercepts. The next set of your work asks you to factor one side of each equation completely. That would be the side that has the x on it. And then find the x-intercepts and y-intercepts of the graph of each equation. Well, let me talk to you a little bit about what the x and y-intercepts are when we're looking at quadratic equations. We have quadratic equations look like this. They're parabolas. They're U-shaped graphs. Okay. The y-intercept of the graph is here, where the graph crosses the y-axis. And there's normally 2 x-intercepts. Those are where the graph crosses the x-axis. Now, what are all the y values when x is equal, or when the point is on the y-axis, x-axis? 0. So y equals 0 here. And what are all the x values on the y-axis? The x values are 0 for all of those points. So to find the y-intercept, remember from chapter 8, okay, to find the y-intercept, we plug in x equals 0 and solve for y. To find the x-intercept, we plug in what? Y equals 0 and solve for x. Okay, so we're going to use this knowledge to find those parts of the equation of the graph. Okay, let's look at number 1. I'm sorry, not number 1, number 13. Number 13 on your worksheet is y equals x squared plus 3x. So I want to first factor the equation. Factor one side of it, and that's going to be the x side. Factoring means taking out a common term or a common factor. Is there something that both of these terms have in common? 1x. Both of them have 1x. So if I take the x out, I can write it as y equals x times the quantity. X times what gives me x squared? X. And x times 3 will give me 3x. So it's x times the quantity of x plus 3. Now, this has been factored. So that's part A of your problems. We factor the equation completely. Then it says find the y-intercept of the graph and the x-intercept. So let's find the x-intercepts first. And we do that by plugging in what?